Now, if you're looking to start your day at a coffee shop, Coffee Call is a good place to do it. So they have the famous Louisiana beignets. Now, these are the larger ones that you're more likely to see in New Orleans, but since we're in Baton Rouge, I want to try the Baton Rouge style beignets. So these are also known as beignet fingers. So I'm just going to take one here and see it's like kind of long, like a finger. And another suggestion, you see all this powdered sugar. That's why you should wear white when you come here. And while most places have salt and pepper on the table, they have more powdered sugar on the table, but you don't really need it. And if you want to enjoy this coffee at home, or if you want to make your own beignets, this is the shelf for you. But if you find yourself in Mid-City and you're looking for a coffee shop there, French Truck is a popular spot. This is the only Baton Rouge location. The roasting is done right on site, and I'm having a cortado. Now, if you're looking to have more than beignets and coffee for breakfast, Zeeland Street in the Garden District is a popular place to come. It's been around since the 90s, so it's kind of known for a lot of heavy Southern cooking. I am having the salad with some brisket. So there are a couple different brisket options on the menu. I'm having the special smoked brisket today. So the brisket has definitely a smoky flavor. It's on the drier side as well, but it's also not overly fatty, which I usually don't like. Elsie's is a popular Baton Rouge spot for sweet and savory pies, and I think everything I'm going to try here today is going to have crawfish in it. So this is Cajun crawfish Kaju. So you can see the top is nice and burnt. Bread's nice and hard. Like everything I seem to encounter in Louisiana, it seems to be a little on the heavier side. All right, a little bit spicy. Cheese is melted, it's nice and warm. Not super thick, but not quite as thin as a soup. And here's a little about on Elise herself. All right, this is a seafood pot pie, which I believe you need to crack. So yeah, it's got like that crispy outer shell, and we're opening it up right now. So seafood pot pie, we're in Baton Rouge. Crawfish, shrimp, crab, roasted red pepper. So in the seafood pot pie, take a closer look. You can see little crab, and then also, of course, crawfish. Goes really well with the nice flaky pastry dough, and it's also a little more mild. I barely sense any spice at all with this one.
You done with the croissant? Okay.
Now this is a brunch appetizer, Bayou Fry Bread. So this is fried biscuit dough. Now imagine that down here in Louisiana. Nice and crispy, but a little bit better with this peach maple butter. The local awards are the best of 225, as in the area code for Baton Rouge. Now there are appetizers, and then there's my entree. So this is the crawfish bisque. You can see it's kind of like a brown gravy looking broth, if that's what you want to call it. Comes with rice, and these right here are crawfish fritters. So this is an entree for an individual, but it's really enough for about 5 people. So I'm just going to try to start off a little bit easy. Take some rice. Take a little bit. I mean, there's no shortage of seafood in here, it looks like. The crawfish fritters, they kind of look like hush puppies. They're a little bit delicate, though. Now, Elsie's is known for savory and sweet pies, so I'm having one that's a special, not on the menu. This is basically a lemon ice box pie with blueberry whipped cream on the top. So it's called Eye of the Tiger. Tiger, like LSU, Louisiana State University, their mascot is a tiger. Okay, I love sweets. but I'm more of a cake person than a pie person. I like this, nice and smooth. I definitely taste the lemon without the citrusy flavor being overpowering. And the crust is also a little bit sweet, which I like. All right, I just tried 4 items at Elsie's and I'm gonna rank them. Favorite was the Eye of the Tiger pie. If you do want to get that, you could get the lemon icebox pie because chances are Eye of the Tiger will not be on the menu when you come here. It was a special. I am going to say definitely my favorite was the seafood pot pie because of the different seafood. Number 3 is definitely going to be the crawfish gumbo. I ate a lot of crawfish here except for in the dessert. That was a little bit spicy, but I like how it came with rice to kind of tame the spice. And then the Cajun crawfish queso, that was probably my 4th favorite. Really heavy, so you couldn't really eat too much of it. The reason that I'm saying that the seafood pot pie was my favorite was because I really like the flaky little pie crust on the top. Po' Boy Lloyd's is the oldest restaurant in downtown Baton Rouge. So you have po' boy sandwiches here, but you also have some other stuff, which I am going to start with this gumbo. So no pork in this one, just little shrimp. And then there's also a little crab claw in here. All right, the gumbo, it's a little bit peppery. It definitely gets some of the crab flavor. But you know, you mostly notice the shrimp. But when I think of Louisiana, I really think of crawfish. So here are some fried crawfish tails. This is something I don't eat often. I usually eat this if I'm in this part of the country or if I'm making a papaya salad. Sometimes I'll use this as the protein, but as we're in the South, these are fried. All right, between the two, I definitely prefer the gumbo, but what I will say about these is I'd rather eat them this way than have to dig out a tiny bit of meat. This is 3 out of a crawfish, so very convenient. But if you do want to put the work in, here's a little manual on how to eat crawfish. But since this place is called Lloyd's Po' Boy, I couldn't come here without trying them. So these 2 have kind of a star next to them on the menu. This is the hot beef, and then this one here is the catfish. So I'm trying the hot beef first. You can see it's kind of soaking, the juice is kind of soaking through to the bottom. So it's served on warm, toasted French bread. Now I'm going to try the catfish. All right. I would say I prefer the catfish. Definitely like the fried, crispy catfish. And I want to mention, Lloyd's was on an episode of Restaurant Recovery a few years ago. Notable because Shaq came here. He's a LSU, Louisiana State University. He's an alumni. So he kind of helped with kind of the restoration of this place. And you know a restaurant is really important to a neighborhood when there's a mural on the side of the building. Here it is, Po' Boy Lloyd's, 1967. Now I'm taking a break from sitting down and eating in restaurants and exploring the local food scene that way. Now I'm going to be taking a class through Chef Celeste Gill, who's a Detroit native that does classes here in Baton Rouge. And today it's Bananas Foster.
Do a slow drizzle for me.
So what's
And
next?
it's just burning off. So after this, we got the ice cream going. We're going to scoop it up, and it is ready to serve.
Well,
Just
thank
let
you,
it keep
Chef
going.
Celeste.
Look at that. Look at that. We're going to spread that fire around a little bit. That was about 2 ounces of alcohol to all of this here. It's going to burn off. So that took, what, maybe 20 seconds for it to burn off. So you always have to think about your visitors, your guests. And we did take some out that had no nuts. So if you have someone that is allergic to nuts, you just have to modify that Bananas Foster, okay? It's okay, but this is our Louisiana traditional Bananas Foster. You can cut your bananas small. This is easier, bite-sized. You don't need a fork to eat it with. You can just cut and go on in there. And it is as simple as that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I had no idea that Bananas Foster started in 1951. It was invented in New Orleans, Louisiana, about an hour from here. I've been eating this pretty much, at least I would say, since I'm a teenager. So let's see how this compares. All right, a couple things. It has more nuts than I think I've had before. Very sweet as well. And it's also nice to eat something in Louisiana without crawfish. So a city of 200,000 people like Baton Rouge has multiple seafood stores, but in many ways there is only one. It's in North Baton Rouge and it's called Tony's Seafood. It's been here since 1954. So back home when I go to a grocery store that has frozen seafood, you might have one different brand of crawfish tail meat, but here in Baton Rouge, we got 3 different options. And it's not just crawfish meat, it's crawfish pies of different shapes. You got the full size and you got the minis. And this is the hotline. People are lining up to get a plate of fish. Got a lot of different options here. You have catfish, which is a big thing in Louisiana, but then there's also garfish, which I've never heard of in my life. And how about this Lifesaver gummies next to alligator heads? Mestizo is a Mexican Louisiana restaurant here in Baton Rouge. Mestizo referring to mix, like Mexican Louisiana mix. So everything in the restaurant is kind of a Mexican dish with a Louisiana interpretation. And this one even goes beyond that. This is a jackfruit enchilada, and this is topped with a mole rosa. So I've never heard of jackfruit in Mexican cuisine, and the owner confirmed this is just his thing that he likes to do. The mole rosa is on the bitter side. So I was told that this is kind of meant to be a plant-based version of pulled pork. Pork is probably my least favorite meat, but I love jackfruit, so I would take jackfruit over pork any day.
But then I like if I overthink.
Now for my drink, I am having the margarita, which is a non-alcoholic margarita. So margaritas would normally have tequila, but in this case they use a couple different lyres, non-alcoholic spirits. This is agave blanco, and then this is another one that's used in it, orange sec. So let's take a sip of this. I'm thinking the spirit probably has the dryness of like tonic water or something like that, but there's ginger in here, which I think kind of sets it apart. Now these are duck empanadas. They're kind of shaped like samosas, and that's a queso drizzle that's on the top of these. So nice and crispy on the outside, and then nice, soft like a pillow on the inside. So Mestizo changes the menu every January. So this is the 25th menu as they've been in business 25 years. So I asked the owner, Jim, which dishes have been there from the start, and he said the Cancun platter is one that has. So right here we have, it's kind of covered with cheese, but you can see this is a crawfish taco. And then we also have 2 enchiladas. We have a crawfish and spinach and a shrimp and crab. And just take a look. I'm going to go down here a little bit. Just look at the cheese just oozing out of the enchiladas. All right, the flour shell, it's nice and soft. The crawfish taco is definitely the best thing I've had here so far. Now I'm trying more of the Cancun. This one is the crawfish spinach enchilada. Now this is the shrimp and crab. So this one has a little bit of spice to it as opposed to the crawfish. Continuing with trying as many Louisiana interpretations of Mexican classics as I can. This is a crawfish quesadilla platter. So I let the owner design this one as he wanted. So he put elote in there. You can see the shell's nice and soft, and this is probably a little too messy to eat with my hands. All right, I wasn't too excited about the corn being in there, but it actually did add some sweetness to it, so I'm glad I took his advice. And of course, in southern Louisiana, I'm not sure what the sauce is, but it's definitely a heavier, creamier sauce that the crawfish is cooked in. Okay, so it's my first time at Mestizo, and I tried several things. I'm just gonna tell you my top 3 or 4. Number 1, definitely the crawfish taco. I certainly recommend getting the soft flour shell with that one. And unlike a lot of food in southern Louisiana, that one's not super heavy. Number 2 would be the duck empanada. I love the contrast between the crispy outside and the soft inside in that one. Number 3, probably a tie between the 2 enchiladas, the crawfish and the crab, very similar, followed by the quesadilla. The quesadilla was certainly the most interesting thing on the menu, but again, I have to go back to the taco. Overpass Merchant is in the Overpass District, just meaning it's under an overpass. So the food menu is kind of bar food with a little bit of an Asian twist. So no Asian twist on this one. These are Wisconsin style cheese curds. I'm gonna try these first. Okay, these are kind of mild for cheddar. Not quite as sharp as some cheese curds I've had in Wisconsin. And for some of the Asian influence, this is the broccoli cauliflower crunch with some chicken. So sesame, peanuts. I believe those are Szechuan peppers, which are gonna add some spice to it. Not quite sure what I'm in for here with all the chilies on this, but I'll give it a try. I was a little scared. For me, this is about a 7 on a 10 scale. I don't like to go any hotter than this. And any restaurant gets second points if they have music memorabilia. Like, check out this Queen News of the World poster. On the opposite side of the I-10 overpass, you'll find Gail's Fine Ice Cream, which is an ideal place to stop after dinner at Overpass Merchant. Now on this Baton Rouge trip, I've generally been dining at very casual places, but I decided to do something a little bit more upscale my last night, and that is Jubin's. So right here, I got a nice hot towel to wipe my hands off before dinner, and I'm gonna try a few items on the menu. All right, I'm starting with the crab lollipop. So these are crab beignets in some kind of butter, but instead of grabbing them by the handle, you grab them by this little claw. Now these are crawfish wontons, I believe stuffed with jalapeno cream cheese. Very crispy. I'm feeling a tiny bit of heat from the jalapeno, but all in all, a lot of crawfish meat in there. And just one more way to consume crawfish in Louisiana. Now, I can only have so much fried food, so I'm trying the marinated seafood salad. And I Googled sensation, and evidently, it didn't come up, but evidently this is a kind of Mediterranean vinaigrette that they do here. And the salad, of course, has crawfish in it. All right, this is more my speed. Back home, I have a couple Italian restaurants where I always order the seafood salad. And this is kind of like that. I love the sensation dressing because you could taste a little citrus in it. And also, kind of reminds me of ordering a seafood salad in Rhode Island. But there you get the scungili, and here you get the crawfish. Thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe. I got more trips coming up soon. I'm heading to Rochester, New York before I go out to Hokkaido, Japan for the first time ever. I also have a couple trips in the works to the south, going to North Carolina. It'll be Greensboro this time, and then I'm also going to South Walton Beach in Florida. I hope you get to come to Baton Rouge and explore some of Louisiana, and I look forward to sharing more videos with you soon.